So in this video I want to do a just quick side-by-side comparison of two very popular survival knives. The Gerber LMF II survival knife, and this one is in a coyote brown color. And the other one is the Becker BK7 Combat Utility Fixed Blade Knife. That's a mouthful. And so I was looking at the difference between the two of these, wasn't quite sure which one I wanted to go with, but I originally had picked the Gerber as my first choice, and through a particular kit that I purchased I also received the Becker, and they're both very really unique knives in their own way, and really enjoy both of them a lot. There's things I like about both of them, some things that are better on one knife than another, but I'll kind of give you a quick review and comparison side by side. So to begin with, let's look at the Becker. This one is the BK7. This is a 7-inch blade, I believe. Yeah, 7-inch blade, hence the name BK7. And some really interesting things about this. You'll notice, first of all, it's got this coating on it. It's a black coating, and I'll get into that in a second. And it's a pretty big knife. So it's pretty much used by all military branches, or at least a lot of them. It was originally designed with that intent. The K-bar knife has a long history in the military. It's a very sturdy, lightweight, all-purpose utility knife. It's easy to sharpen. It's got the 1095 Crovan steel blade, which I'll talk about a little more here in a second. The blade thickness is 0.188 inch. And basically on the blade, it's got a black epoxy powder coat, which prevents rust. And again, I'll explain that a little more in a second when we talk about the 1095 steel blade. The sheath that it comes with, the sheath's alright. It kind of feels a little cheap and flimsy, to be honest. But one of the things that I really like about this knife is when you purchase it, the money that you spend really goes toward the blade. That's primarily where you're starting at. The foundation is a blade. It's just an amazing blade. The other parts of the knife, kind of a no frill, you know, the case that it comes with, and the handle. Not a big fan of the handle. I'll probably do some things to it. Probably stick some grip tape on it, or use a Dremel or something to kind of, you know, put some like little kind of texture on it so I can grip it a little better. One of the things that's really nice is it's got a full tang. This knife actually, the blade is all the way through and through. It's a full tang blade. So we'll compare that in a second to the Gerber knife. Let's see, the handle is a durable glass fiber filled nylon handle. Again, it's a really sturdy handle. It's just a little slick. When you feel it, you kind of get a feeling that it's slick, which is why I would probably want to put some grip tape or something on it. It's got a 20-degree edge angle, and again, it's a 7-inch blade overall. And it measures a total of 12 7/8 inches, so just a hair over a foot long. It's a pretty lengthy knife, and just the knife by itself, it weighs, I believe, 12.9 ounces. So it's got a pretty heavy feel, or not a heavy feel, but I mean it definitely feels, you know, like a good solid knife in your hand. So one of the things I like when you do hold it, though, it's got this little thumb ramp on the back right here. So when you're holding it, it's a nice kind of like part that you can rest your thumb on that really gives you the feeling that you really are able to kind of grab onto this blade really nice. If you've got to, you know, do any kind of whittling or anything like that, you've got a place where you can rest your thumb to put a kind of a, you know, kind of a grip on it like that. About the steel, so it's the 1095 steel, and the thing about the 1095 or the 1000 series steel blades, basically you have the 1045 and the 1095. 1095 is the most common steel blade used for knife blades in the 1000 range. It's basically you know, still in the range of 1045 to 1095 are used for knife blades, although the 1050 is more commonly seen in swords. And 1045 has still has less carbon. It's only about 0.45%, whereas a 1095 has a lot more. It's about 95% carbon. So inversely, the 1095 has less manganese and 1045 has more. So in essence, the 1095 still would have more wear resistance, but would also be less tough. And the 1045 holds an okay edge, but the 1095 still holds a great edge and it's easy to sharpen. I have a sharpener that I have in my bug out bag that this knife is strapped onto with the molly. So it holds a really good blade, and it's pretty straightforward to sharpen it up. And the major drawback to this type of steel is that it rusts easily, though, the 1095, which is why they put this coating on it. And it's designed to combat rust. And so I've seen some videos on YouTube where people are actually, you know, they have ways of taking that off. I would definitely not recommend that. Leave that on there. It serves a purpose. Again, it's to prevent rust. And so if you buy this knife, you definitely want to keep it dry. Make sure you oil it up when you're storing it. But again, with this nice coating on it, it definitely takes care of that issue. So overall, really like the knife. Again, this is currently the one I've got tied on to the molly on my bug out bag. And just overall, yeah, great knife. I'm going to do a few things to it just to make, again, the grip a little easier. Again, the sheath here feels a little flimsy, feels a little cheap, but gets the job done. You can, strap this on a molly or your belt, and put some rope around to maybe secure it to your leg so it's not bouncing around if you're running or something like that. All right, so let's go over to our the Gerber. So this is our Gerber LMF II survival knife, Coyote Brown. Comes in a few different types of varieties, but this one again is the survival knife version. So let's go ahead and pop this guy out. It's got two straps, and I believe which is designed for guys that are jumping out, parachuting, etc. That was one of the intents with it being designed for the military. It's got several different secure places where you can secure on. And then also it's got this little grip here. I don't know exactly what you call that, but yeah, it's kind of got to pull really hard to get that out. So you almost have 3 points, these two straps and then this guy right here. So on this knife, one of the cool things is you'll notice right away you've got some holes here, 1, 2, and 3. These two holes are primarily designed. You can put run some cord through there, paracord or whatever, onto a stick, and you got a spear. So that was one of the original intents of those two holes that you see right there. It does come with a safety knife. Let me open this up here. This is the original box that this all came in. Comes with a few different things. This little guy right here, and your safety knife. As you can tell, I haven't even really been using this. I need to put it in my car. Safety knife, just kind of a knife to cut a seatbelt type of thing. But again, this is not something I'm using at the moment. So running down here on the list, it's a really rugged, very versatile survival knife. Again, you got the serrated edge along with the fixed blade, or rather the straight edge there, and you got the serrated. Let's see. Again, the strap that it comes with, or rather your sheath has two straps that it comes with. So if you want to tie this to your calf, you can do that. It goes around your leg, your calf. If you want to put this on your leg, on your belt, you would probably take this guy off right here, run this through your belt, and then have this go around your thigh here. Let's see, it's MOLLE compatible. Its overall length, the knife itself, the overall length is 10.59 inches, whereas our Becker came in at 12 7/8, so about a couple inches shorter than our Becker. The blade length is 4.84 inches, whereas our Becker was 7, so a couple inches shorter than the Becker. And let's see, it's got, the weight is, without the sheath, just the weight by the knife itself is 11.67 ounces, so just barely, maybe about an ounce or so under the Becker. Now, with all the sheath and everything else you've got here, it comes in at good hefty, about 24 ounces, almost 2 pounds. And so with all this different stuff, it gets a little heavier. So one of the things that I really like about the sheath here is you've got this built-in blade sharpener right here. So if you ever have to run your need to sharpen your blade, you can run it right through there. Obviously, you're going to have to move this all the straps off here, but it does have that built in, which is kind of a cool little feature. So basically, if you're out in the outback and your knife is getting dull due to usage, you have a little nice sharpener built in right there for you. Let's see, also this knife features an overall, or rather an over molded handle, which helps prevent hand blisters and provides a really secure grip. When you hold a knife, the other thing I was pointing out about the Becker is it has kind of, you know, that slick feel to it. It doesn't really feel, you know, like something you can grip onto. And again, I'll probably put some grip tape or other things on it here soon, modify it. But this one, right out of the box, when you hold it, it feels so good in your hand. It just really conforms to your hand. It just feels sticky almost, you know, like you know that thing's not going to come out of your hand if you're using it for whatever purpose. So that's one of the things I definitely like about it. Let's see, one of the interesting things, the pointed butt cap here on the end, right here, it's made of stainless steel. It's heavy and it can be used to pierce glass in the event you have to get out of a vehicle or something. I mean, also on the Becker, you've got this really sharp, you know, really strong steel end here as well. So if you had to knock out a window, you could. This is also can double over as a hammer. So you just would put this in your sheath, and obviously not hold the blade, but with your sheath, you can use it as a hammer. And one of the things that was very intentional, this is not a full tang knife. The blade actually, I think, goes about right here. And one of the things they designed it for was they didn't want the blade to actually connect to the back. And that was intentional in case someone's trying to get out of an airplane or cut their way out of a fuselage, aircraft in the military, and they cut into wire, that it doesn't, you know, this metal part back here that they're gripping, that their hand is on, doesn't electrocute them. That was intentional. They're actually grabbing onto a rubber grip here. And so there's an actual physical separation between the blade and this butt cap here in the back. It's not a full tang knife, as I mentioned earlier. And so the blade itself is actually, it's a 420 HC stainless, so again that's 420 HC. So basically stainless steel is obviously the preferred metal for knife blades because it not only withstands corrosion, but also it's easy to clean. And it comes in a lot of different levels. In the 400 series, it's believed to be one of the top choices for knife makers since this level is quite resistant to deterioration, as well as being a lot easier to help keep the knife blade sharper. As part of the 400 series, the 420 HC stainless steel and the 440C stainless steel are considered two of the top grades in the 400 series for knife blades. The 420 HC, though, the stainless steel, this one that this blade is made out of, it holds a higher carbon intake than the 420. And the HC in the 420 HC stands for high carbon, and it can be brought to a greater hardness in the 420. Because it can be sharpened to be very precise, to a very precise cutting edge, and it doesn't rust easily. These 420 HC stainless steel is often the preferred grade in the commercial knife making industry for things like, you know, scissors, surgical tools, knife blades, cutlery, etc. So it's a really really good metal, the 420 HC. And so you know, one of the things that's really great is that 420 HC, it provides extra strength, hardness, and wear resistance, much more than other stainless steel grades. It also makes a great knife for a general purpose knife, and you know, has the ability to resist corrosion, and it has really strong edge holding capabilities. So overall, I really love holding this. It feels great. It's a great multi-purpose knife, and can't say enough good about it. So between the two knives, a lot of times people ask which one would you prefer. Honestly, I don't really know, to be honest. They're both very unique. Again, you know, this BK7 obviously is way bigger, as you can see, side by side, and they're almost identical weights. They're very close in weight. But if I was stuck out in the wild and they told me, hey, you got one knife to choose from, which one do you want it to be? I think I'd be really tempted to go with the BK7. I mean, the only complaints I've read online about the Gerber is with this rubber handle. A lot of times people start really getting down on it and wearing it down, and it just starts splitting and breaking. I've never taken it out and used it to that hard, so I can't really comment on that. But that's just some of the complaints that I hear. Whereas this BK7, this thing's kind of bulletproof, feels like a tank when you hold it. It's just really, really, really strong and sturdy. So anyway, both great knives. You know, and again, I don't by any means want to put a negative light on Gerber. I would definitely, in a heartbeat, feel comfortable using this, and definitely would love to have it as my go-to knife. They're both amazing knives. So anyway, definitely hope that helps kind of give you an idea if you're looking at the two. A lot of people can, you know, usually go with the BK5 instead of BK7. You often see side-by-side comparisons of the Gerber and the BK5, or the Gerber LMF II and the BK5. But yeah, hopefully that gives you a little better idea of the two.